do you suggest going out and raising money with essentially a prototype or a PowerPoint, or do you suggest a company, and maybe we're talking about an enterprise here, going out and actually getting customers, having launched the product, they have revenue coming in, and then they go out and try to raise a seed round?
To my mind, when you raise, you could spend forever building a thing, right, with relatively low resources. The problem is it's all about timing the product to the market, okay? And so if the market is here now, you need to be in the market, so you need the money. Yeah. Okay. Whereas if the market isn't here, and this is why this rational conversation about what is this thing, who would buy it tomorrow if you had it, right? That's so important because it helps you gauge when you need the money and when you need to time your market entry. So to my mind, when you need money is all about that.
Yeah.
You can afford to take a long time to build something if you don't have to enter the market right now, or if you have massive defensible technology base. In general, in tech, things move fast.
Yes.
And there is very little incentive to preserve equity in the cap table versus getting money and going faster, because there are very few existence proofs of people who made it that much better by doing so.
Yeah.
Okay. And in fact, probably there are lots of counterexamples where people were overly controlling of the cap table and didn't get the funds to go faster. Mm-hmm. So if it is a transformational idea, you will be able to convince somebody with decent pockets to put some real money in it, at which point you can get more humans to go and help you build a business. So in general, I'm not in favor of being overly conservative in terms of early stage growth. I'd far rather have a much more viable platform to go and deliver the thing. And
so are you saying, I guess to maybe dice it a little more, are you suggesting it's really speed to market based on the timing of the market? It's like time is not on your side. Go if the market is telling you to go get it, you go get it.
If timing is so, just say Uber didn't exist and you suddenly came up with the idea called Uber. It's pretty clear that there are no defensible barriers to the business based on proprietary anything.
Yes.
You've got to go do it, right?
Yeah.
Because anybody else could have that idea tomorrow, right? Standing in the line waiting for a taxi. Yeah. Okay. So it really depends on the idea and the technology and what the business can be. By the way, if you wanted to build an Uber, you would want hundreds of millions of dollars to fight out all competitors.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they're doing, right?
That's exactly what they're doing.
So you find, those kinds of businesses have to build these big war chests because they have to obliterate all competition. Say you came up with the coolest thing, in some cool optical storage blah thing, it could be that the technology is very early and you have this heavy incumbency of people who buy traditional storage stuff. So there might not be that same urgency in terms of getting something to market. Nonetheless, you're competing with industrial research and so on. To my mind, being really frank with yourself and your co-founders on day one as to the rate at which you need to do this is absolutely crucial. And that will then clue you in as to how you go about getting money.
Yeah.
To my mind, in general, having more smarter people around a problem sooner is always a better thing. That is, it massively increases your probability of a successful outcome versus you sitting on stewing on something, or you and your co-founder sitting on stewing on something forever and possibly getting it wrong because you didn't talk to the other guy, right?
Yeah.
So to my mind, I'd rather have more brains around the table than less.
Which usually takes capital. It requires at least some sort of investment. Obviously not what was required 10 or 15 years ago, but certainly enough to get enough.
Actually, I mean, you look at the big consumer plays, huge amounts of money, right?
Yeah.
And shocking, right? $150 million to Airbnb. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And increasingly, enterprise market, the deal sizes are going up and the valuations are going up too. So, that by the way is partly driven by the fact that the VCs have got way too much money, right?
And that's just to do something with it, right?
Yes. Yeah. So there's a huge amount of money in the venture world, and that has led to generally to inflation of how that ends up, we have yet to see.
We'll see. All right. Well, we're gonna close it up here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the beer.
Cheers.